Thank you for tuning into the Onyx Effect. Today we have Dr. Ali, who has come to step in the ring with Onyx. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to step in the ring with me to explain and talk about your amazing life. You are also fondly known by your trademark name as Mama Ali.
Yes, and I love it because the children gave me that name and all over the country. So I decided to trademark it.
Well, that's very, very smart, and that's very wise, and that's something that so many people can learn from. One of the questions that I have for you is, just to get right into it and get to the meat of it, how old were you when you first met Muhammad Ali?
I was actually 10 years old, and he was 18, and he was visiting all the Muslim businesses in Chicago. It was the empire of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it was just amazing. But in this book, it tells you that I decided not to approach him in a different way. And I approached him by saying, he said he was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world before he's 21. He could your autographs now because he was going to be famous. Huh? Well, how does he know what he's going to do? You know what I mean? I go, how does he know? And then an autograph? I said, oh no, this is not good. And then he said, hey little girl, here's my autograph. And I said, her name is Cassius Marcellus Clay. And Cassius Marcellus, that's a Roman name. Did you know that? Do you know what the Romans did to people? And then you got clay, like dirt you mold. Are you proud of this, brother? I said, and as I tore the name up in half, I said, until you have a name of honor, until you have a name of respect, matter of fact, until you have a Muslim name, this is not going to make you famous at all. You take that back with you. I don't know. That became the target on my forehead for the rest of my life. I was just teaching them a little knowledge.
That is amazing.
He was shocked.
I'm shocked because I'm thinking a 10-year-old at that time having the forethought to even think along those lines.
Yeah.
What was it about your upbringing that you can identify and educate people on that allowed you to have that type of understanding, foresight, and thought?
Yeah, the foresight was the fact that I was raised up learning about our history. When you learn about your Black history or your ethnic history that has not even been told in the schools yet, that was fortunate for me. And it was a blessing because everything is geared around your culture, your race, your identity. And since people was calling Black people or colored people and Negroes and all these different colors, we wasn't not known for any of that. So, it's like, and by him not being educated that way in his school and his upbringing, I just thought, when you're a Muslim, you're just supposed to spread knowledge. And I thought it was my duty to let him know that this is not something to be proud of. Despite who he is, he was just an Olympic boxing winner of the gold medal, which is really nice and exceptional. But when you're talking to Muslim children, their root is their history. And I just couldn't allow him to be so proud of something that he should be proud of.
So one of the things that I love and admire about the way that you talk, to speak, and educate is your ability to humanize an individual without taking away any of the legacy.
Yes.
Is that an ability that you always had naturally?
I just always had that naturally. I have a way of talking to people and not to discourage them or make them feel bad or be rude. It's just a way of saying things that just comes straight out and no holds barred for me, because I just come to you straight.
Right.
And there's no color coding. And That's because I speak from my heart. And I try to be as kind as I can when I express myself, which is totally different than what the knowledge that you would know of. So I just say it in a kind way, you know. It's almost like telling a woman not to show her bust, not to show her ass, but she thinks she's cute. Even though she's cute, I would say to her, when I talked to Whitney Houston, when I saw her with a real short dress, she wasn't looking really up to par. And this woman is like amazing woman, but you look at her and you go, what's wrong with that picture, you know? So I say, you know, Whitney, you have a beautiful voice. You have a velvet tongue, so to speak, and you are a queen. And you have built your crown, but we need to build your spiritual crown, your womanhood, your motherhood. And you're too great of a woman to come in dressed like that, because you're a queen, you're beautiful, and you need to be with long garments, less revealing dresses. And you, because you are that queen that I admire and I love. And she thought it was so nice of me to say that, because I said it in a graceful way, because I love my sister.
Yes.
And she is, you know, just outstanding with her vocals. I mean, she got some pipes, man. I never knew I could even hear these octaves that she has. It's just amazing coming from a human being. And I cherish that. But the covenant of it is for her to be more modest and more carefree and covenant in a covenant way.
That is great.
Yeah.
And
you have to like soften the cushion when you throw the pillow. Like
yes.
Softening the cushion.
Yes. So that takes me right back to you telling who we know now as Muhammad Ali about his name. It seems that you have this just amazing way to just provide information to enlighten. So was that part of what transitioned him or made him think about even transitioning into the Ali?
Yes. And he said, wow, she's so smart. She's 10 years old. She told my name, man. That is not cool. Who does that? I mean, he said, well, she's a Muslim and she's a tourist, and what she does is teach. That's what they do. They share their knowledge with their Islam and everything. That's what these young people do. And she said, but she told my name, man. She told my name. I'm supposed to be able to that. And he said, she's teaching you something. Don't worry about it. Don't take it personal. So 3 years time, Cassius Clay came to the Honorable Elijah and said, brother, I need me a name. I need me a name. I need me a respectful name. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him Cassius X. He said, no, I can't have that. I can't have Cassius. That's a Roman name. And he's repeating what I said to him. And that's when he decided to give him Muslim name. But the way and how he chose his name is in chapter 5. So there you go. So maybe they chose how he chose his name.
Okay, well that's still amazingly great information, because that's information that we don't hear about. So
yes, that's why the book is gonna be so interesting.
I can't wait for the book to come out, because just hearing you, like I said, tell these stories and relive what it is that took you on this path is amazing. One of the questions that I have is, as a 10-year-old little girl, you seem to evoke and emote so much power and confidence at a time where not only people of color, but specifically women were silenced. Is that a teaching? And how did you continue to stay and continue to be the woman you are today?
Well, you know what? I have always been a woman of curiosities. And my 10 years of being in this life, that 10 year, when I was 10 years old, I did a lot of things. At that time, I picked up a camera and took pictures. I was one of the person that started our yearbook in school, and they allowed me to take the pictures. At that same time, when I was an honor student, right before I met Cassius Clay, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took all the students that were honor students to Minxfield to fly in a helicopter all over Chicago. And that's when I got hooked on flying. I had this eager curiosity to fly. And since I want to learn how to fly. And now, after all those years passed, at the age of 22, I became an aviator, a pilot. And I studied in Chicago's at Butler's Aviation, and I learned how to fly Cessna Beechcraft and Bonanzas. And even though Muhammad Ali was afraid of flying, I had to sneak behind his back and learn how to fly so he wouldn't know it, because he would just totally trip out. And so now that I'm an aviator with 830 hours of flying, I just came from Pakistan and I flew with the Pakistan Air Force. And I learned and spoke to some of the women that are fighter pilots. And I became an instructor, a temporary honorary instructor of aviation in Pakistan, in Islamabad, Pakistan. So I did a lot of things at the age of 10.
Yes.
That's the thing. And I was, serving dinner at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's home, and serving coffee and tea to his dignitaries and diplomats. And Malcolm X was one of them. Martin Luther King was one of them. H. Rap Brown, Julian Bond, all these great men I have served at the table of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I've met a lot of freedom fighters and leaders, and that's just my realm. That's where I belong.
Yes.
And that's who made me who I am.
It's absolutely where you belong.
It made me curious about other cultures, other languages, and I can speak just about 2 or 3 words in any language. But thank you, or I love you. And when I was able to fly to Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, within a matter of weeks' time, I spoke fluent Dutch.
Yes.
So it's just something that I love. I absorbed the languages thing. I just love languages. And I love meeting leaders. I've met leaders, freedom fighters, war heroes, diplomats, financial gurus, and I'm still meeting them every day.
Yes.
I finally get to meet Tony Harrell. He is an outstanding entrepreneur and leader of businesses. He's just amazing, and it does not stop.
Right.
And I'm at the age of 70, and I'm still meeting some of the most greatest historians and honored people in my lifetime. And I got Tony Harrell with me, man.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is just amazing. I got Kenneth L., who brought me here to Virginia so many times before I felt like I even lived here. And it's just amazing. And I met you, Onyx, and you're a dynamic woman. You're like an Amazon woman.
Thank you.
Forget about Wonder Woman. You are amazing. And you're hosting an about. I mean, you have to look at what you see and appreciate the knowledge.
Yes.
I mean, in the 60s, who would thought when you'd be in a ring with these long boots and everything interviewing me? I mean, this is like, wow, she's a powerhouse lady.
Right.
And I admire people like you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
You're my superhero.
Yeah, thank you. You're my superhero, so that maybe we can make a team of the new Avengers.
There you go. Let's do that. Let's do that. I'm in the film industry now, so I can do that.
Yes. Well, I'll be there. All you have to do is let me know.
Thank you.
One of the things that you said and you touched on, and I want to get into that when we come back from break, is you named so many amazing leaders, from Martin Luther King to
Tony Harrell,
Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to Tony Harrell, to Kenneth L.
These are men that are existing, that doing their due diligence and making the change in the world now.
And what I love is that all of these different people exist in different areas of life.
Yes.
And you spoke briefly about that last night, or when I spoke to you previously, about being from different areas and us all moving towards a common goal. So when we come back from break, I would like to get into that a little more.
Excellent. Turn the commercial.
You heard Mama Ali. We're going to take a commercial break because we got to pay some bills, and then we'll be right back. We're back, and thank you, Dr. Ali, Mama Ali, for being here. When we took a break, we were just really getting into your serving these wonderful, amazing leaders, and as a child. And one leader stuck out particularly to me, and that was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
And why he stuck out to me is because you are a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there was a huge push for the civil rights movement, and we had leaders from various religious organizations. And a lot of times, the news or the powers that be never told us that all of the leaders that we admire were, in essence, working together. So can you tell me what that was like, and as a child, and then expound upon it for me a little bit?
I mean, being a young child bride, okay, and being with Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali now, I was at his side and giving him tips and pointers, things to say, things not to say. And by me being in the house of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, serving Martin Luther King just coffee alone, and this man had a suit on. He was young. He was like in his late 20s, and I was like a teenager. So I admired Martin Luther King. He admired the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but the only thing of it is that he said, you know what, I would actually join you, but I have something that I must do. He said, and we never, deliver marches. We don't do marches. We don't get in the public and distract traffic. We don't give a cause for any of them to come after us by doing something wrong already, by stopping traffic or being a nuisance or being a problem. And that's what we don't do. We don't make problems for the city. We try to abide by the laws and respect the laws, and that's not what we do. We talk, we speak our wisdom, and we don't disrupt traffic with marches. And Martin Luther King said, you know what, I would love to join you. I think everything you said about us, teaching us about the wisdom of Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali, which Elijah Muhammad was a part of at that time. And we knew that there was something more for us. We knew that we learned about this, but this is the thing, the two men, they totally respected each other's wishes and each other's domain as a promise to give a gift and do a mission that God has put into them. And this Martin Luther King was on his mission, and he just simply told the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I love you, I respect you, but I do have a mission, and I want to do that, and I thank God for you for giving me the innocence and the respect, and that's not given every day.
Right.
And listen to these men in front of me. It's like out of a movie. This is a real little girl looking at real leaders here,
Right.
that people don't see every day. I felt like Cinderella.
Right.
And to sit and watch these men talking. How old are you, Tony? I'm talking to Tony. 45 years old. Who does that? What was I at 45? Oh, Lord. And these men, they started in their 20s, and look where he is now at 45. You know what I mean? So this is like the stretch, the learning process. This is incredible. I get goosebumps. I get to pull Malcolm X suspenders and pop them because I had that urge to, you know how kids are when you're young, you want to do something to see the reaction. Yeah, Malcolm ran me all around across the room until I got behind Betty's skirt, which is his wife. He couldn't do anything if I got there. So it was just, and he had this laugh, this wholesome laugh. It was just, you know the little boxes that used to make people laugh just listening to it? That's the way Malcolm's laugh was. It was so wholesome and just wonderful, and he smiled with his teeth was shiny white like the sun. Yes. And I'm sitting here playing around with Malcolm X, watching to see him come from jail and tell people about themselves. I mean, I was right with these people, and I'm so grateful to exist. And this is what our children must realize, that they have greatness within them.
Yes.
And they have to work on that greatness, their dreams. They have to project.
Yes.
They have to come out of that shell and speak their mind, speak their truth, and just make it work. Because when you're doing the right thing, and you're doing it out of your heart and your private mission with the Supreme Creator, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
It's very few people that are like that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of followers
and
not a few leaders.
That's true.
And it's because they have the courage and the confidence.
Yes.
And that's what I liked about Muhammad Ali, his confidence.
Yes.
He would say, they would say something negative to him. He said, Muhammad Ali, I think you're conceited. He said, I'm not conceited, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
And he just took it to a whole nother level. I mean, he was just positive about everything. Howard Cosell to him, you are so truculent. He said, if that's good, that's me. And he didn't even know what the word meant. But they threw these big words out. He said, I don't know what this guy's talking about, but if it's good, it's me.
Right.
And he just kept it positive. He just took the negative and turned it into a positive.
That's amazing.
You know? And then he would throw it back at you.
Yes.
You know, he would meet fighters that want to be like him. He said, Muhammad, I box. He said, you box? What do you box? Oranges, grapefruits, or bananas? And he would say, what? And just bust their bubbles so fast. And they said, man, he is so funny.
Right.
And it's just amazing because his strategy, I said, why do you talk about people? Why do you interrogate these people, these men? You know, why do you interrogate them? Because I saw a white guy get in a ring when I used to go see wrestling, and he would talk, he would say he was pretty. He combed his hair. He'd have 2 blondes on his arm, and people couldn't wait to terrorize and tear that guy down. Yeah. People would fill the stadiums up. He says, I'm going to do that. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it to boxing. I'm going to intimidate them. I'm going to make them mad. I'm going to make them so mad they won't be able to know how to fight. They get frustrated. And then I got them. So he actually had enough talent to manipulate their anger in order for them to fight.
Yes.
Because when you're mad, you can't think.
You can't.
And he knows he had the upper hand. Yeah. And he psychologically whooped these people in the ring. You know what? I can't argue with that. I think that's genius.
Yes.
I think it's total genius. I didn't help him with that. He did that all by himself. You know, there are certain things that he had the genius of, and he will always be my champion. He might have screwed up later on down the line, but he was always a master in his art.
Yes.
And he spoke out what he believed.
Yes.
He did not fear anything but God himself.
Yes.
And I'm the same way. I'll speak out. And my book is going to show you how I speak out.
Yes.
And I don't care who hears it.
Yes.
And as long as I'm telling the truth, I don't care who hears it. And I was upset and I was angry to get divorced. I was angry that my husband wasn't faithful. I was angry that he embarrassed me in front of people. I hurt bad. And I kept it to myself.
Yes.
If, like my mama said, you can't say something right about somebody, don't say nothing else. So I kept it quiet. And now that I have healed and I understand my purpose in life. Even though it didn't come out the way I wanted to, I had to learn to move on and create my own life and helping children to better their character. Be kind. That's my mission.
Yes.
To give people the encouragement to speak out, to say something when they see something.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. And even though women have been oppressed all their lives, they had to fight to vote. They had to fight for their rights. They had to fight for respect. They had to fight and stand up and don't be battered, don't be hurt, and you have to stand up. You cannot allow somebody to trample all over you. You have to, these bullies are out there to hurt. And you have to learn to respectfully stand up for yourself.
Yes.
The Me Too Act, long time ago.
Yeah.
There was a Me Too Act way before they came out. But the fact that they have made it an issue, they've come out.
Yes.
They've come out with the Black Lives Matter. Well, I think all lives matter, but this is the thing. They need to teach black people that Black Lives Matter because we kill each other every day over drugs or whatever. They need to teach the black people to know what Black Lives Matter means because we're killing each other every day. And actually all lives matter, but you have to stand up for respect. But you cannot be cross and disrespectful to no one. This is why they die. Because they disrespect the police officers, they disrespect their space, then they disrespect themselves. Now me, for instance, if I saw a black man cussing me out, I hate cops, cuss me out, and I'm carrying a gun, something's wrong with that person psychologically. Because nobody in their right mind will cuss and say profanity words to a cop with a gun. Who does that? How many times you gotta say, don't reach in your pocket? How many times you gotta do that for them not to get shot? I mean, they know it inside out, they know the lifestyle, they know what's gonna happen, but yet they constantly don't.